I'm Wendy Weger, president of Gilda's Club Grand Rapids. Cancer and grief can stop you in your tracks. At Gilda's Club, you don't have to navigate it on your own. In 2023, we had 22,398 visits to our free cancer and grief emotional health support program. While we can't share every individual's experience with Gilda's Club with you, we can invite you to walk alongside of one member. In a moment, I'd like to share with you a message that was filmed at our March 14 Red Door Gala featuring Gilda's Club member Curt and Vice President of Program Claire Portinga.
First of all, thank you so much for being willing to come tonight and share your experience through the eyes of a member. I know that we're going to start seeing some pictures of your daughter, Emily, up here on the screen.
Yeah.
And I'd invite you to share a little bit about Emily and her personality, who she was.
Emily is my daughter, my only child, and she was just the most beautiful soul you would ever want to meet. She's kind and loved animals, loved people. She was very, very intelligent, excelled at school, earned a scholarship to Grand Valley University, and really excelled in her studies and had a true passion for learning. But some of the qualities that really impressed me the most about my child was early on she had a true sense of compassion for anybody around her, people, animals, and she was just a loving child. And as she grew and came into adulthood, she backed that up with a real sense of conviction. And I was so impressed as a young person, the stance she would take on things in the world. And if she saw somebody that she thought wasn't getting a fair shake from life, she would step up and do whatever she could to help. And as a parent and as a father, I could not be more proud of the young woman that she became. And on top of it, she was just wicked funny. The kid would crack you up. She was one of the funniest people I ever knew.
She sounds so amazing. And I know she was diagnosed with cancer while she was a student at Grand Valley State University. Would you share a little bit about her experience during her time with cancer?
Sure. So it was in the late spring, early summer of 2020. It was between her sophomore and junior year at Grand Valley. And she started to have some health issues. They had a little bit of trouble putting a finger on it, worked to try and track that down until finally never really had a defined answer. And in November 10th of 2020, which was the day before her 21st birthday, they scheduled her in for a scan. Let's do a scan and let's see what's really going on. And about an hour and a half after the scan, we received the call that nobody wants. I'm sorry, you have cancer. And we were admitted that evening to a local cancer center here in Grand Rapids. And after about a week of tests and scans and biopsies, she was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer that had spread to her lungs and her lymph nodes. And at that time, they said, well, we're going to do a maintenance program for her. There's no cure. There's no magic thing that's going to happen. And she dove in, and they did it. And we would go and see the oncologist, and he would tell her, it's amazing how well you were doing. And the diagnosis of no hope suddenly started to turn into some hope. And the surgery that was never going to happen was scheduled, and it was successful. And after her surgery and a post-operative visit, and it would have been early October, we went and saw the cancer surgeon, and he said, you know, I am cautiously optimistic that you have beaten stage 4 cancer. 2 weeks after that, her health started to change, and it deteriorated rapidly. As part of the surgery to be able to happen, they had to stop the chemo that was fighting the cancer in her. And while she was off the chemo, the cancer had come back. And on October 20th, she was admitted to the emergency room, and she was again, the cancer was back, and it was in the lining of her abdomen, and there wasn't really anything they could do. October 26th, they attempted one last surgery to try and come up with a way to help her. And I still remember the surgeon came afterwards, a very wonderful woman who stated, I'm sorry, there's nothing viable inside of her anymore. So the next day, October 27th, was my birthday, and it was Emily's last day. It was just shocking how fast that her health deteriorated. So that day she wanted to go home, lay in her bed, and pet her dog. And a group of people came together and they made that happen for her. And she arrived back home at 3 o'clock. She was placed in her bed. She petted her dog. And 18 minutes after we got there, she passed away. So that doesn't get easier.
No. How, as a grieving dad, did you then find your way to Gilda's Club?
I found my way to Gilda's Club through volunteering. I work at UFP Industries, Universal Forest Products, you might know it as. And they're an amazing group of people. I'm really proud that I work there. And the Christmas celebration every year at UFP is a day-long event. And part of it is all of the employees go out into the community and volunteer. And I thought it would be a good tribute to Emily to volunteer at Gilda's. Mm-hmm. So I came to Gilda's and I told a little bit of Emily's story. And it was at that point that they told me, hey, we can help. There's a parent grief support group. So that's how I found my way to Gilda's.
Yeah.
It took me a little while. I came back.
And we're so glad you did.
And I became a member.
Yeah.
I came in my very first time at Gilda's. I sat in this very green chair. And they were kind enough to give it to me for a security blanket tonight. But it's been...
Yeah, if you would describe a little bit about what the experience has been like for you as a member at Gilda's Club.
It really did change my life. I fear for where I would be. It's such a dark place when you lose a child. And without the staff and the volunteers at Gilda's and the experience that I had there, and just being within the group atmosphere, there's so many things that are difficult to convey when you have an experience like this to people who aren't having that same shared experience with you. And so much I see at Gilda's is shared experience of people supporting each other.
Yes. I know that there are experiences that are haunting and that group members find they can share because they all have similar stories and similar experiences. Did you find that that was something you were able to share with the parents in group?
I did. So no fault to anyone. I had a group of friends I was talking to, and they said, man, how you doing? And I said, it's okay, but there's parts of this that are truly haunting and are difficult to contend with. And a friend of mine said, really, like what? I said, if I stop for just a moment and allow myself to think about it, I can still feel my daughter's eyelashes on the palm of my hand when I closed her eyes for the final time. And it's really difficult to come to grips with that. But at Gilda's, and I found the group, and I brought it to them, and we were able to talk and unpack that and have a conversation and find out how to deal with that. And people who haven't experienced it are several people of my friends during that discussion. One person went, I'm sorry, and they got up and they left. And I don't blame them. It's so difficult to comprehend that and to, for a moment, put yourself in those shoes of what that experience would be like. But at Gilda's, there are people that can help you find your way and navigate that.
And Curt, as much support as you have received, you have also given, which is what happens with the members there. Is there anything you'd like to say that you want people to know about Gilda's Club before our time is done tonight?
I would like people to know what the staff does. The staff is tremendous, and you help us all walk a path that nobody wants to walk, and find our way and to find our way back out of some very dark places. And I just don't know what I would do without that. And the volunteers are incredible. There's an army of people at Gilda's, from Laugh Fest to just day-to-day things at the clubhouse, parlor hosts that greet you when you walk in the door, people that make you supper when you just didn't have it in you to make supper that night. And they're fantastic. And probably the other group of people that need to be thanked are you all. The people that provide financial support to make all of these programs work. You can have all of the knowledge and all of the love, but the lights don't run on love. So we're blessed that you people in this room and the companies that you represent are willing to help support this. Thank you for members for doing that.
So just a last question in parting. What do you think Emily would say about you being here tonight?
Whenever the kid wanted to get my attention, she would go, "Oi." She grew up in Jenison. There's no oi in Jenison. But I could hear her going, "Oi, old man, you did good."